I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the April 3rd Board of Public Affairs meeting. Good evening. First on the agenda is to approve the minutes of the March 15th board meeting. All been presented with that. See any additions or corrections?
I see none. I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes from the March 15th meeting.
Second.
Karen,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Dick,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Bob.
Yes.
Next on the agenda will be a hearing of public concerns. Seeing none, we'll move on. Next on the agenda is the introduction of a new staff member. Nate?
Good evening, everybody. I just wanted to take the time to, basically on March 12th, you approved the hiring of a probationary engineering assistant, and I just wanted to be able to put a face to a name. So this is Stuart Martin. He's basically going to see him around here. Just wanted to, so everybody could, make sure that he's allowed to be here and he's gainfully employed. So we look forward and hopefully I see good things for him here. So.
Well, good deal. Welcome aboard, Stuart.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Bryan.
Yeah. Next on the agenda will be the committee reports. First will be communications, and Bob, if you would.
Underneath the title projects, we have the cable integrate upgrade. We placed the first order for the cable modem routers and expect shipment soon. This was in the budget for 2018. Number 2, Sprint circuit upgrade. In order to upgrade the internet in 2018, we must increase the amount of bandwidth that we bring into the head end for supply to our customers. Number 3, upgrade equipment. In order to provide capacity to process and deliver the new circuit bandwidth, we must replace 2 pieces of equipment and hardware in the head end. Number 4, BMU voice upgrade. We have almost reached the completion of the project to upgrade our existing Cisco phone system to a new version. Number 5, Bryan Industrial Park Fiber. We are working on engineering and plans for construction of the fiber relocation on Windsor Drive in the Industrial Park. Number 6, Bryan Street Hub. We are working on engineering and planning to complete the fiber connections and upgrading the facility. Number 7, downtown Wi-Fi. We are researching the possibility of providing a Wi-Fi service for the community in the downtown area of Bryan. Underneath the video department, we continue to improve programming for our BMU cable customers with regular BPA council meetings. We are now inserting advertising equipment and working well. We're now broadcasting basketball season at the Bryan High School 2018. We're preparing to insert local advertising in a program that will carry the NC basketball tournament. This will be network television, channel 42 on the system.
Thank you, Bob. Next will be electric committee. Jim?
South Allen Street overhead to underground conversion project is complete. Balzer Industry primary service overhead to underground conversion complete. H Machine primary service overhead to underground conversion. The purchase order is in for the new 300 kVA transformer. Town Line Road primary underground replacement is complete. Maple Street directional boring project. The crews are installing primary and secondary cables this week, and they have 5 poles to replace for the project when conditions allow. Winslow Drive lighting project. Purchase orders have turned in for conduit materials and for the poles and fixtures. Engineering will stake out the poles and pole box locations, and the crews will be trenching and installing conduits along existing roadway once the materials are received. Yanfeng crews to install 5 new poles that exist along the north side of Perry Street and in close proximity of the 12-inch tower water line that is unlocatable. They will utilize the vac truck to dig the pole holes when time permits. Oberlin Recycling overhead to underground conversion project. The owner has hired an electrician to complete the necessary work and also needs to install conduit from the road to the new transformer location. They don't expect this project to progress until spring. line clearance. They're driving out circuits to identify needed line clearance areas for the tree trimmers. Downtown lighting, retro kit replacements, commissioners and Bryan Municipal Utilities joint effort to improve the downtown lighting. And mutual aid, NYPA, 2 BMU linemen left on March 8th for Rye, New York, arriving around 11 p.m. at the staging area. And the crew has been restoring power in Connecticut and New York for the New York Power Authority. That's all I have.
Thank you, Jim. And the Water Committee, Tom?
Water Committee notes for March 15th, reviewed the water quality report, reviewed the design of the water quality report. The report will be electronically delivered. Customers will be notified on the utility bill during the month of May with a direct link to BMU's website. Link will also be posted on BMU's Facebook page. Printed version will be available on request. Water treatment plant is working on backflow letters that will be mailed within the week. These letters are for backflow devices that must be tested between April 1st and June 30th. Installation of new chlorine injector assembly was completed. The old injector assembly was beginning to cause flow and vacuum issues. The red sand filter is due for cleaning this year. It's typically done every 5 years. The staff is exploring options to best complete this project. Water treatment plant staff has been compiling informational letters for customers affected by the Walnut Street water main project. The Ohio EPA is in the process of making revisions to the lead and copper rule. These revisions will likely require additional testing and notification during the construction process. The crew repaired 4 main breaks, upgraded 2 meter pits, changed out 4 water meters, and installed 1 new service connection. Staff has been spending many days exercising main line valves as part of the annual valve maintenance program. We have more than 2,000 valves in our system to maintain and rely on. The new vacuum excavator truck has been extremely useful in vacuuming debris out of the valve boxes. Some valve boxes get full of gravel, asphalt, mud, and leaves, making it impossible to operate the valve without cleaning out the access box first.
Thank you, Tom. Next will be the Electric Committee Power Plant and All Glaze. The Nordberg Diesel Oxidation Catalyst. They discussed the next step with Steve Payne from the Industrial Diesel Service. Due to the low exhaust temperatures, the oxidation catalyst will need to be installed close to the engine, and installing the DOC in the exhaust stack is not an option due to temperature. The Nordberg currently operates at 2 inches water column back pressure, and adding the DOC would increase the back pressure to 7 inches. Steve Payne's a little concerned about that, but our plan is to test the engine by installing a temporary butterfly valve on the stack discharge and adjust the engine back pressure to 7 inches of water column and monitor and see how it runs. GT2 emergency generator, Selking International was working on the engine. They were just waiting on gaskets, which I assume they've came and
It's installed.
it's installed. Okay, inspect the gas turbines for gas leaks. They used electronic leak detector and found a few gas leaks, and those have since been found and repaired. All glaze, of course, they fought the debris during the high flows from February through March. A lot of leaves, which gets on the intakes and we lose our suction. They're working on an upgrade rake design for the pal finger to clear the debris. Next scheduled to install the flash boards Friday, March 16th. The boards are built and ready, and those have been installed, ready to go. That's all for the committee reports. Next on the agenda is to authorize the Director of Utilities to execute an AMI vendor selection services agreement with Value Tech Solutions. You got a resolution for that?
Yes, we do. Would you like to read them?
Lori, that is a resolution.
Resolution number 12, 2018,
authorizing the Director of Utilities to execute an agreement with ValueTech Solutions Incorporated to provide advanced metering infrastructure system, AMI, vendor selection services.
The board may recall recently ValueTech presented the results of the initial feasibility study. What this would do would be to work with staff to develop the characteristics that we'd like to see with the AMI system that best fit our community needs here, and take it up to the point of the solicitation of proposals on it. So that would get you the information as far as what the cost of a system would be, get you everything to be able to make an informed decision on whether or not to proceed. So it's our recommendation that you would take that next step.
Yep, that was part of the process,
That's correct.
the next step.
And the budget $34,770?
That is the estimated cost of it, that's correct.
If it goes above that, is there contingencies above that?
He believes that it will be less than that.
Oh, okay.
So I guess it would not change from that unless we ask for a change of the scope. So that's a good question, but yes.
I think it's a wise step to have them do this so that we are not surprised by anything out there that we might not know about in advance that would make us wonder if we made the right decision. So it'd be nice to know exactly what we're getting into and what we can expect. And
Yeah. I think for the estimated cost here, it's what money well spent for you in your decision-making process, because as we discussed, if you decided to move forward, the initial estimate was about $2.8 million. So this is good money to get the information you need to make a well-informed decision on it.
When you invest that much money, you want to get the best bang for your buck.
On these labor hours, there's about four categories they list different labor hours for different things. So
Right.
if they're under on one using the hours, it can apply towards one other, if we need more time on some of these other categories. Correct. He's done a kind of a lot of ballpark. these in the past, and so he's got a good feel for what he estimates the labor hours will be with each of these categories. He's also collected a lot of information. We had a very extensive request for information as part of this process, and part of that is to help him better refine what he thinks the labor hours will be that are going to be involved based on the information we can provide him. So if that information is readily available, it takes less time for him to complete these steps.
Any other questions or discussion?
I guess this is a logical next step, and I'll make a motion that we approve.
Second.
Jim?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dick?
Yes.
Karen?
yes,
Todd?
Yes.
And the cost of that would be shared by the electric and water utility.
Next on the agenda will be a resolution to authorize the Director of Utilities to purchase bandwidth management equipment and associated items through the State of Ohio Purchasing Program. Please number and read, Laura.
Resolution number 13, 2018, authorizing the Director of Utilities to purchase an F5 Big IP Series Model 15600 bandwidth manager and associated hardware, software, maintenance, and support through the State of Ohio Purchasing Program.
Mr. Farrell's here to
Joe?
answer any questions you might have.
Would you like to address that or answer any questions?
Sure. Since it's rather expensive. We have several pieces of equipment in the head end that I've discussed before that we have to replace in preparation for the internet upgrade. And one of them is this bandwidth manager. We currently have a Procera unit in there that we purchased several years ago, and it will not pass the bandwidth capacity that's going to be needed. And this device will pass 10 times the capacity of the Procera. And we looked at several different options and several different manufacturers, and this device came out to be the best solution for us and the most economical. We're saving about $40,000 from what we've been looking to have to spend. So we're asking to be able to purchase that. It is a budgeted item, and the new device is coming in somewhat over budget, but not a lot. And we have funds and another capital project for the storage area network that we cannot do this year, that I've already got the line item transfers created to submit along with the purchase order up to Lori's office to make sure that all of the dollars spent on this project will go to the capital asset for the auditors and everything. And CDW is the vendor we'll purchase it from. They're a state-approved vendor, and you may have some paperwork there that shows that they actually have a state contract number. And Rhonda helped me a lot on this, and I really appreciate that. So if there's any questions.
I know this is something we've been talking about that we needed to have, and
Yes.
again, it was a budgeted item.
And this is part of the internet speed upgrades that we have been discussing. If you wouldn't mind, Joe, would you mind telling them what the next steps are here after the purchase of this equipment? Because this is just one of several steps in accomplishing that internet upgrade.
Sure. To give you an update on where we are with the project, our bandwidth carrier, Sprint, is giving us a date mid-May that they're supposed to have the circuit ready to turn up. We're working with our other vendor to get the new ASR router installed. What has to happen is the ASR router has to be installed first, the circuit upgraded, and the bandwidth manager is, with this device, is placed after the router is installed. All those pieces have to be installed before we can put the first CMTS router in, install that, and then start the upgrade process from the head end and this section of the city. And so as soon as we get this equipment and that circuit upgrade, we're going to be rather busy. So.
I'm glad it's an option that you could use and purchase through the state term purchasing program, and CDW has proven to be, CDWG actually, for the government part of it, has been a very reliable vendor over the years.
I know you've used them a few times, Karen.
Yes, we have. What's the lead time on the equipment?
It's probably going to be like a couple of weeks, but we won't have the engineering services applied to install it until that router's installed and upgraded. Because of the type of connectivity, we're increasing the bandwidth so much that the connectivity that we currently have in the head end, a lot of the cables and the modules and et cetera are not compatible with the slower bandwidth connections. So we have to have the router in, then we will get this installed.
Well, it's a fair amount of money that we saved too, going through this program.
It worked out good, yes. Thanks.
Thanks, Joe.
Move that we approve the resolution.
Second.
Tom?
Yes.
Dick?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Next on the agenda will be a resolution to create an assistant power production superintendent position. You want to address that, Bill?
Sure.
This is part of the succession plan that we've been talking about.
That is correct. In accordance with the plan that was presented to the board last fall, you may recall there were a number of positions that we're trying to get someone to work with the incumbent based on their planned retirement dates. This is the first of one of those key positions. We'll be bringing something to you here in the near future as well for Mr. Farrell's eventual replacement. But this is the first of those, and it's in accordance with what was presented to you. This is a budgeted position as well. So I'll be glad to try to answer any questions you have regarding the position.
It'll be a tough man to replace, Matt.
We're all ready.
But this was a great idea. You know, we can get someone in to mentor under you. Tough position to fill. Very hard.
So the knowledge he has acquired over the years, yes, agreed.
Again, that was part of this succession plan that we started, you know, last year. Unfortunately, Matt would like to retire and enjoy his later years. Hate to see you go, but
You know, I hate to leave, it's been a great place to work.
yeah.
But it is a broad spectrum job when you include all blades and
Right.
substations and generation, so it will take some time to get through all that with someone else.
Sure.
And it's great that you're forward thinking enough to
Right.
be able to bring somebody in to work with me so we can get through all that, so.
No, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's a cheap investment, you know, for our future.
Can I make a motion?
Absolutely.
Would you like me to read the resolution first?
I did it again. I'm sorry, Laura.
It's okay.
My bad.
Resolution number 14, 2018, creating an assistant power production superintendent position.
Apologize again. I didn't mean to get ahead of you.
Me either.
No.
I'd like to make a motion to create an assistant power production superintendent position.
I'll second that.
Karen?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Dick?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Thank you. We discuss a lot of times the peak shaving aspect of what the power plant does and the money that saves for our customers here. The other piece of what that generation there accomplishes for us is providing emergency backup for the water plant and for the rest of the community as well in the event of loss of support from the grid. And thank goodness we've not had a lot of occasions where that happens, but it's definitely an asset that this community has that I don't believe any of our neighboring communities have in the same manner that we have it available here. So it's an additional measure of protection for our customers that perhaps a lot of other customers in Northwest Ohio don't have. And when you take a look at the cost of the loss of business in the event of a total system outage, it adds up very quickly.
It's a lot of money.
And so when we talk about how critical this position and that part of the utility is, it may sound a little bit of like hyperbole, but it really isn't in this case.
Especially for economic development, they want to back up to the original, you know, so it's very important for the economic perspective. that they have something
That's
like
correct. We get asked that question a lot about duplicate feeds and backup. That's very important. So, thank you.
And just to kind of put that in perspective, correct me if I'm wrong, by not missing a beat in 2017, we saved over $4 million.
Yes, and capacity and
Thank you,
transmission
Matt.
charges this year, about $4.5 million is what we're projecting.
So that's how critical it is to have someone that will eventually replace Matt, that'll be able to do the same thing.
Right,
It's-
that's correct.
Do you have a son that's looking for a job?
A clone?
investigating
Is there another
cloning.
clone?
It's worth the thought.
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you, Kevin.
Mhm.
Next on the agenda is a request to advertise for an assistant power plant production superintendent.
And this would just be by simple motion if the board so chooses.
I'll make a motion we approve.
Second,
Jim?
Yes.
Karen?
yes.
Dick?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Next on the agenda is a request to advertise for a communications videographer.
Was also included in the budget this year. This is the position that Eric Herman used to have, and we've never filled since his promotion some time ago. We've got the job description in there and a little bit of a description of what the job duties and responsibilities are. Eric is not able to perform as many of the other higher level functions as we'd like to have him perform, because he's very involved in this and he could certainly use some help.
Yeah.
So it's our recommendation that you consider granting this request.
Again, that was a budgeted item.
That's correct.
Any questions, discussion?
I'm in agreement, Eric is deserving of some more
Yeah.
advanced duties. Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we create the position of communication videographer.
It's to advertise for it.
To
It's
advertise
an
for
existing
that.
position.
Okay, yes.
I'll second.
Karen?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Dick?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Next on the agenda is a request to hire a temporary part-time labor for the communication and video crew.
Yes, this would be another one of the part-time positions. You know, we have a budget for this and we stick within that budget, but if we have more folks that are available to be called upon, it helps with the operation. So it doesn't increase the hours, it just sort of spreads the hours out amongst a greater number of people. So we have a request to hire Edna Clark for a part-time laborer in this position in the communications video group.
That again, I think, is to maintain your part-time pool to 8. Question? Discussion?
I'll make a motion that we employ Edna Clark as our part-time temporary laborer in the communication department.
I'll second.
Karen?
Yes.
Dick?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Next on the agenda will be a request to reclassify a water department staff member.
This is a request for Chad Fitzenreiter. Chad's been with us 3 years. However, he's got about 20 years in the business. He grew up in the water treatment, softening, and home pond water treatment business. So he brought a lot of experience with him. He's completed all of his testing to this point that's been available to him and passed very well. He's certified by the Ohio EPA as a Class 2 operator, studying for his Class 3. Nowadays, you can't even take the Class 3 test until you have 5 years on the job training. Years ago, you could just take it as soon as you passed the one test, you could go take another. So that almost makes it more difficult because you lose a little bit of the learning curve by having to wait 2 years to take the test. But at any rate, he's also a certified lab analyst. He's currently taking an online class. Just proved to be a very valuable asset to the water department. So I'd recommend it and ask that you promote him to a Class 2 water treatment plant operator.
I see he's jumped right on preparing for 3,
Yes, sir.
so that's good.
And Jimmy's doing the same thing.
What
judging by the status change request, he's definitely got the credentials.
He's put in the work.
Yes, he has. Sounds like all the guys over there have.
Yeah.
I'll make a
Great
motion,
bunch.
I'll make a motion we approve.
Second,
Jim?
Yes.
Karen?
yes.
Dick?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Thanks, man. I was just thinking about it. Norm's gonna do
Next on the agenda will be a motion to pay the bills.
I'll make a motion we pay the bills.
Second,
Jim?
Yes.
Karen?
yes.
Dick?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Thanks for putting the total down there in the bottom. Make a change to the form.
Next be comments from the board and staff. Mr. Iyer.
I really applaud the board here for looking ahead, especially with the session planning. I think it's just very critical, and I give kudos to Matt. I worked with Matt for many years, and like I said before, you got ace in the hole with that guy, so it'd be a tough one to replace, and this one I finally got him trained.
Right.
Thanks, Bob. Jim?
I just want to welcome the new employees and thank you for your service. I'm glad to see we're moving ahead with the EMI. I think it's definitely a worthwhile project. That's about it.
Karen?
I was wondering about this, the men that we sent to New York to help them out. Has there been any response? How did we do? And
You know, I don't have a report for you tonight on that, dear, and I apologize. I
It's
got
okay.
thinking about that when you were going through the reports tonight, the committee reports, and Al's not here this evening, but
Yeah.
we'll certainly provide that to you. I'll ask him to get the word out on all of the statistics on that.
Yeah.
So,
appreciate that. And welcome, Stuart.
Thank you.
Nate will work you hard. In a good way. That's fine.
And welcome, Stuart. Also, Matt, I'm glad to see we're moving ahead on that. You're going to be a good mentor for somebody, so we hope we get somebody in here soon. As Jim mentioned, I'm happy that we're moving ahead on AMI. That's going to be a good project. Internet upgrades, another project we're working on, so we're moving ahead. So we're not slowing down. Thank you.
Again, welcome, Stuart. Part of a good team. Hope you stay forever. It's a good place to work. Of course, I'm a little prejudiced, you know, I'm biased, I should say. But, Kevin?
I don't have anything in addition for you this evening. Norm's going to provide a little bit of information about the informational meeting on Thursday when it goes around, unless you'd like to do that right now.
I can do it now, yes. Just a reminder for the folks and folks here in the water line project area from Maple Street to South Street on South Walnut, and then the 200 and 300 block of East South Street. We have advertised to those folks by mail and door hangers, and I think some Star 86, if you're a member of that, Alert 86, of a public informational meeting Thursday night, this coming Thursday night at 7 p.m. at the VFW. The contractor's supposed to be there. Representatives from here will be there, giving them a small presentation and a chance to ask any questions and let us know of any special needs anybody has in that area. And to talk a little bit about replacing service lines, not just on our side of the meter, but also on the homeowner's side of the meter. So tentatively, I believe the contractor is hoping to get started Monday morning at the corner of Maple and Walnut, and then proceed south.
Okay.
And the DPA is certainly welcome to attend, as well as council. If you can work it in your schedule.
This Thursday, 7 p.m.
Yes,
VFW Hall
yeah, that,
on Walnut Street. Okay,
709 South Walnut.
thanks, Norm. Appreciate that.
You can't miss the trucks or the equipment sitting down there and the pipes down there on Walnut Street as you're driving down there.
Just there to.
And it looks like they're ready to go.
it will, I might say, it will be quite a lengthy job. We don't expect it to be completed till at least the end of July, so. But fortunately, it won't affect, they'll move right down the road, so the blocking time will be pretty congested, and then it'll be opened up a little bit as they proceed. But it is a big job for us.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have a feel as to whether or not any of you will be in attendance?
I will be there.
Yeah, I'll be there. In that event, then the city attorney's advising us that we probably should call a special meeting for that evening.
So if you want to,
Two of
if
you
you
in
get us
attendance.
questions, or you're called upon, or someone stops you, or you need to discuss it amongst yourselves, I think it's better that you utilize it as a meeting. So.
Do we need a motion?
Just need a motion.
Motion to,
I'll make a motion. We approve a special meeting for Thursday, the
7 o'clock p.m.
7 p.m. VFW.
Okay, I'll second that.
Jim?
Yes.
Dick?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Rhonda, I wouldn't have thought of that. Megan?
One thing I would ask people to keep in mind is we are offering and opening up civil service tests for police officers as well as dispatchers. Keep an eye out for those dates. And I'm sorry for the cough that I'm struggling with tonight. We had a pretty short council meeting, so there's not much to report from last night.
Okay, Rhonda?
No, sir.
Laura?
No, sir.
Council? Department heads? Dawn?
So I met with Dawn Baldwin from Williams County EMA this morning, and she got BMU a user account for the Alert 86, which Norm alluded to. And so we're going to try and use that format as another form of communication with our customers. And so we sent out specifically to the Walnut and East South Street project with those blocks, and we were able to notify 68 registered. So that's great, and I will report back more as we see how successful that platform is. Even so, project updates will be posted on the website as well as on Facebook. So, and I just want to say a special thank you to Don Baldwin at EMA, as well as the county commissioners for having that sort of format available.
Dawn, what forms does that message get delivered in when you send the message out?
Email, text, and also phone calls.
Okay.
So a user can go to the alert86.com and sign up for alerts, and you can tell it specifically what you want to know. There are communities all around the county that utilize it. So you can tell it to either send you a text message, give you a call, send you an email. And you can also, if you live in one community and work in another, you can identify what you want to be notified for. It's really neat.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dawn.
I've been using that system since it came out, and I know that I don't have anything signed up to receive those kind of notifications, because each individual can go in and sign up for whatever they want. So how can we alert the public that they might want to turn on our,
That's a great question, because I actually had to log in and I thought, I need to update my information. You can log in and you can add or take away specific addresses or communities to update that. And I know initially when some of us signed up, we weren't thinking through the process, so the phone would ring every time there would be a lightning alert. So now you can get in and you can really hone into the information that you want to receive and where it's from. But just going to alert86.com and then log in, and it allows you to update the information. That answer your question?
yeah, I just wondered how we tell the public about that, so that, I'm sure they all know, if anybody's on that, they know that they can activate the different areas and the different alerts they want to, but I don't know that they would know BMU is now part of it, so just initially, getting that information out to them.
Right. So we are actually under the city of Bryan, but I think you have a social media message that's supposed to go out tomorrow, letting everybody know that we are on Alert 86, and we'll communicate that way now.
Oh, that's a great idea. Thank you.
And Eric has the link on our website as well.
Thanks.
Good, thank you, Doug. And I assume that the press will give us a little paper.
He's taking notes.
Thanks, you, Manny. Max, do you have anything? No. Okay. I guess with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Stay for a while.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Jim?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Dick?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes. I know some of those.